Survivor gets more and more interesting each week, and it's now time to review episode 9 of Survivor season 45. So here's the thing. This episode, okay, kind of simple in theory, but a lot of very, I think, vital pieces to the episode that you may have missed.
Right.
So we start with this immunity challenge, but here's the thing about the immunity challenge is that before they go, they get this very eerie note that kind of like, I think mentions anxiety and panic in the note. And it essentially tells them they're gonna have to break up into 3 teams, 3 teams of 3. They can do this however they choose, but that's how they have to arrive to the immunity challenge. And what's interesting is there was a strategy to it that Drew came up with, which was let's do 1 strong female, 1 strong male, 1 weak link, which was actually really funny that he said it that way. I was like, okay, interesting tactic. But then when we get to the immunity challenge, it was very interesting to see how this played out. First of all, there was a lot of moving parts to it. So as you can see, there was like a kind of web of ropes they went through. There was a balancing thing they had to do. Well, there was another one I can't think of right now, but the balance beam. There was like so many aspects to this, and then along the way, people would kind of get eliminated or like be last, if you will.
One team would get out, the other team would get out.
Yeah.
The other team would then compete for the individual immunity.
Yes, and so that was the thing is the last team, I guess, competed for the immunity, which Kendra was one of them, one of the 3, Kendra, Bruce, and Julie.
It was impressive how long they could keep their arms up.
I don't think I could do that, to be honest.
I would have been super tired.
Here's the thing, Bruce ends up winning immunity again. Ooh. So annoyed. Why does he keep winning immunity? But you know what's crazy? Okay, so they said at Tribal Council, which we'll get to in a second, Caleb had mentioned, who's on the jury, that Bruce has been safe 16 out of the 17 days on the show, which is crazy.
And he still
you
has
don't think
his
about
idol.
that, and he still has his idol. I'm like, they need to go after him hard. Right? Someone else needs to win immunity this next challenge.
And every time, the plan has always been, let's flush Bruce's idol. Let's flush Bruce's idol. But they
never had the opportunity
because he keeps
to.
Getting immunity.
Yeah, and the one opportunity that they did have, I guess they didn't take. So
which was dumb.
That is very dumb. But the other thing we see, and I don't have any pictures for this, but the other thing that we see on is the logic puzzle. And the kind of punishment from this, I guess, comes from the immunity challenge. The team that got last then had to go and do this logic puzzle to earn back their vote because they lose their vote by losing the challenge. Which, let me just say, okay, as a fan who's watched a lot of seasons of the show, I'm really sick of the like losing your vote punishments. I think it's weird, and especially to make a third of the remaining contestants lose their vote and have to earn it back.
And it feels like every week somebody loses their vote, this season at least.
I saw something on Twitter that I thought was really interesting, and it was like another episode of Survivor producers not trusting the contestants enough to make the show interesting. And I was like, that is such a good point.
Right.
Because it feels like that's what they're trying to do a little bit, because it's every single episode someone loses their vote and has to earn it back.
And I mean, the twists are fun to an extent, but you don't need them
You don't need them every time. Yeah, and what's funny is, so it was Katurah, Austin, and Emily who all had to do the puzzle, and Austin's the only one who was able to earn it back. Because, and it was kind of interesting actually to see it, because Katurah was like lost from the jump, and then Emily was like, this is really like hitting me hard because I'm an investment analyst and people are gonna think that I know exactly what I'm doing, but she's like, fast math is not my thing.
Which I forgot
and she struggled really hard.
That was her job. Well, I mean, the time though, I mean, you know, having 9 through 1, have to figure out where to put 3 pluses and 1 minus to equal 100. There's a lot of combinations.
I would do
3
horrible.
minutes. That's stressful.
No, because that was the thing. They had to flip like the, what is it, the hourglass or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was when their timer was out. So then we move into Tribal Council. And here's the thing, the dynamics of the tribe, and I say this every week, are just so, you're just so unsure of what's actually going on. The only thing that I think we can be sure of is that the Reba 4 working together. So that's Austin, Julie, Dee, and Drew. They've been very strong this entire game. Everyone else, they're kind of just wild cards.
Yeah, well, Drew and Austin kind of have Emily as well, but Emily's kind of seems to be fluctuating a little bit.
Yeah, well, and you know, one of my favorite things too, so we see this at Tribal Council, but it's funny because with the pressure of people knowing that you may or may not have your vote, you can really do whatever you want with that information. So we see Austin straight up lie to Kendra's face at Tribal Council, and he's like,
I think was smart.
No, I don't have my vote. I do too. Kendra was so paranoid. I think she kind of had an inkling of maybe something was happening. Kendra ends up getting voted out almost unanimously. The only person that doesn't vote her out is herself because she voted for Jake.
Well, what surprises me is why Bruce voted for her. That seemed off the wall to me.
I think Bruce is trying to play it safe right now because I think he's so I think he was so caught off guard by not only Kelly going home, but then also we see in the episode at the beginning, he takes it really hard that Kelly, he finds out Kelly was like maybe gunning for him.
Yeah.
So I think he's trying to kind of get himself back into good graces. I don't think that he's successfully doing that, but I think this is a good strategy in his head of like kind of slowly working towards that, if you will.
One thing about Bruce being a little like feeling that way at the beginning was he's like, I treated them the same I treat my wife and daughter, and now he wants to go home and ask. So I'm kind of curious if he asked his family and what they said, if he was like overbearing and stuff. stuff.
I will say something I've mentioned a lot in like our reviews is that I love these like human moments that we see on the show, and that was like one little small moment where I actually like Bruce a little bit because I was like, you know what, that's real and that's raw, and like that's something we all feel.
Those moments help us connect with them more than just seeing them play the game.
Yeah.
'Cause when they're playing the game, we see more of their like conniving side.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. Well, here's the thing. Austin's been our winner pick. I still think Austin might have a good chance. I'm just holding
got my
out.
fingers crossed.
I think he's still got a couple advantages, so he
still has
might
his
just be
two,
fine.
which I'm kind of surprised he's so willing to give the other Reba.
Yeah.
Because he gave Julie, when they split up, just in case, one of his idols.
Yeah. And my final point, I will say showmances are always a big thing on these shows, and it kind of seems like they're teasing up that Dee and Austin might be a showmance, which would be kind of weird, but
I don't know.
it might
I
be
feel
a
like they're
thing.
just really friendly. I don't think they're like...
I don't know.
I don't know. We'll see.
Who knows? Well, a brand new episode of Survivor airs tonight on CBS, or you can stream it on Paramount Plus, and Ozarks Live will be right back.